T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. I'm Travis Creasy, and we are ready for part 2 of our interview with April Howton about her breast cancer journey. And we'll get right to that right after this important message.
The Ministering to Youth Conference, better known as M2Y, is taking place this year on November the 2nd through the 5th on the campus of Heritage Christian University in Florence, Alabama. This conference is designed for anyone who has a heart for today's youth. There are classes designed to help deepen your faith and knowledge of God's Word, as well as specific topics to help you better understand the culture our kids are having to navigate today. Ladies' classes and classes designed to help the leadership of the church as it pertains to the youth ministry are also available. Of course, there is also plenty of free time to enjoy each other's company and brainstorm about ministry. That alone is worth the trip. So whether you are a full-time or a part-time youth minister, elder, deacon, parent, or volunteer, there is something for you at M2Y on November the 2nd through the 5th, 2023 at Heritage Christian University. You can register now at m2yconference.com.
For me and anyone that follows me on social media, I am very honest, and I will say this is a bad day. I love humor. Yes, I'm going to always try to show that, but I will say when it is a bad day. And because I do a lot of stories, I do Facebook and Instagram stories, so I'm very honest to go like, this isn't good today. I don't feel good today. This is what for me, it's that is healing for me because I want to have humor, and it's really cool to see when I'm having a bad day how many people bring me humor. Like you getting that meme, crazy text, like a silly picture or a funny video. It's funny because people know I deal with tragic things with humor that they're like, oh, time for me to pick up the slack. Hold up, I'm going to send April this. And then they make me feel better. And I'm like, man, thanks. So it's kind of like this beautiful round robin of, people love what you give, but if you have nothing left to give, they're so excited to do that. And that's something I've learned on this journey, being someone who's very independent. I love to work. I love to create. But I have to tell you about this lady really quick. So I play tennis. I love playing tennis. That has been one of the hardest things for me is not playing tennis. That's my therapy. I enjoy doing it. I played 5 days a week with amazing women. And there's this lady. She is 81 years old. She has played tennis since she was 27. She's absolutely amazing. It's an honor to be on the court with her. She's on a fixed income. She wears the same couple outfits. I mean, she's fine, but this is her therapy. And she had called me because she doesn't text. And she said, April, I want to get a meal for your family delivered. And I'm like, you are so precious. Thank you so much. But a meal for my family is not your little family meal from Cracker Barrel. It's 2 to 3 family meals from Cracker Barrel. It's not just a 4-pack. Because I have 7 to 9 people. Depends if other kids are over. There could be 12 people at my house at one time. And I said, oh, thank you so much. And I meant it. I was like, but we are good. She goes, no, I would like to do this. I said, I appreciate you so much. I said, but I've actually got 11 people at my house this weekend, and it's a lot. And she literally said, April, stop stealing my blessing. Quit it. And I said, because I know she's on a fixed income, and I know that Cracker Barrel meal she wants to buy my family is over $100. I know it is. And I said, no, ma'am, we're okay. We're fine. My husband does a good job. He's been able to work. I have not been able to work, but God's been good and taking care of us. And she goes, but stop. You're stealing my blessing to bless you. She goes, I have saved and I want to do this. And you're telling me you're literally rejecting me. And I'm like, no, I'm not. You can buy me food. I don't care. Buy me all the food. But I'm like, here's this 81-year-old person who had planned this out. And she's like, this is what I want to do. And I want to bless you. And so this whole experience has made me stop saying, no, thank you. And I've just started saying, thank you so much. And that has been hard for me because I'm the one who takes care of people. I'm the one who I'm bringing the food and I'm bringing the plants and I got your laundry. I'll pick up the kids from school. That's my job. And so to have other people do it for me, I'm like, no, you don't do that. That's my job. And so that has been a huge lesson, a humbling lesson for me to learn is to not say no, thank you, but to say thank you.
There were so many people that want to do for you
the thing I go about is I don't want anybody to feel bad because they can't do something.
Right.
And that's the thing. And so sometimes it was easy to go, no, don't do that. But I get it, man. That's absolutely true. Shout out to Sonny Owens, who basically told me that at a very young age. People want to do things for you, let them do it. And I still struggle with that. Even today, I feel like 5 years removed, people shouldn't be doing things for me, but it's something they want to do. And so it's a tremendous blessing.
Absolutely.
To do that. And I was telling Whitney that we were getting to interview you today. And I said, I need to thank her for putting me within 6 degrees of Amy Poehler. So I appreciate that. That's not something we mentioned in the intro, thinking about that and how thankful I am because I love the show Parks and Rec. Like it's just on loop here with the office here at our house. But you guys are so talented. I love your TikToks. I love the vending machine that y'all fixed up. What did you name it?
She's called Mavis. And it's machine. Hold on. It's called Mavis. Mavis. Machine vending is spectacular.
So you have several TikToks where you take this this vending machine and fix it up, and it dispenses the little creations that you make there at Studio 23.
So
it's pretty sweet.
I'm trying to see if they're in here. So my lasers that I do tons of, like, maybe you can see it on that. I can't really raise my hand, but so I do laser and I do designs and I get to make all these little fun things that we call them pocket hugs, and they go in here and you can give people. I do big pieces of stuff too, but what had happened is I had tons of wood left over when I would do big signs, and it was good wood. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So I started making all these little things that go in this vending machine. And so it's just $1. People go in. And I thought, the kids are going to love it. It's the adults. It is 100% adults. And there is a very sweet lady that comes in every Thursday. She always has $5 in quarters, and she'll go, it's for my grandchildren. And we're like, okay, but we know it's not.
Yeah, sure.
You go right ahead. So, but
I like all your Golden Girls collection stuff in there, which is weird coming from a 42-year-old man, but you can't go wrong with Golden Girls. And I have also rocked your slide there at Studio 23 and almost lost a limb.
So that 12-foot slide, I'll tell you a quick story about that, unless you want to cut me off, but you can edit this if you need to. But so when we bought that studio, we've been in there almost 6 years. I was 5 inches short of needing a second way off that loft. I have an 81-foot loft up in this warehouse. And so I did not need it, but the fire marshal's like, it would make me feel really good if you had one more exit off this loft. And I said, he goes, legally, you don't need it, but it would make me feel good. I'm like, I got you. I am here to please. I'm a people pleaser, right? So he leaves. He comes back 6 months later, and I have put in a 12-foot swirling slide. Because first of all, it's a tube. You can't fall out of it. And second of all, have you ever gone down a slide and been sad? Have you ever seen, I've seen kids cry, but that's probably because they fell off of the slide. But you can't fall off of it.
My hip out going down the slide. But other than that,
whatever.
It's still pretty happy at the bottom.
It's like, you gotta, it's fun. So he comes back in and he looks in and he literally steps into the warehouse. He goes, no, April, no. And I'm like, what? I'm like, check out what I did. I'm so proud. I'm so proud that I'm like, watch. So I'm going to run up. I'm going down this slide. And he's like, no, April, no, I meant stairs. I went, why would we do stairs? You can fall off of stairs. You can fall down stairs. Stairs are a fire hazard. They're wood. This is plastic. You can't fall out of it. It's so much fun. Totally get down faster. It'll be great. And he was like, I cannot believe you did this. I'm like, I personally think it was genius. So it is the only slide in the state of Alabama that is written off as a fire escape. And to this day, he comes in, he's like, ugh.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So fire marshals and doctors, I kind of set them straight.
Not surprising, but awesome nonetheless. I don't think I asked my Amy Poehler question, but So fill us in, you and your daughter, once again, talented, awesome people. You never know what they're going to do. I'm always blown away. And I'm like, man, I wish I could have thought about that. But even if I thought of it, I wouldn't be able to pull it off like you guys do.
Well,
so give us the background. I'll let Will ask another question. Y'all may all have something else to do, but I need a little background on the show.
So our oldest daughter, who is number 2 in the line of 7, is Maddie Howton, and she owns Gingerhead Bakery. Now, can't see her on here. Wish you could put pictures up. But Maddie is 6'3". She is a gingerhead. She has really bright red hair down here. So that's why it's not gingerbread. It's gingerhead bakery. She came up with this in English class. And she started baking when she was younger, but really started during the whole COVID thing. Someone had asked her to do a cake, and she's like, I bet I could do that. Well, I create with wood and build things with wood. Maddie creates with cakes because they are just masterpieces. And July of last year, I'm just scrolling through Instagram and I see this thing about bakers wanted for a baking show. And I'm like, oh, she would kill this. That would be great. Mom just thinking the best of her daughter, whatever. So I send it to her. I'm like, you should do this application. Well, she comes back. She goes, well, it's a team. Do you want to do it with me? And I'm like, yeah. Do I know how to bake? No, but I can follow directions like nobody's business. I'm like, I could build a shed. I had someone put this shed up, but I did all the sheetrock. I did all the framing. I did all the I'm like, I got this. Like, I can bake a cake. The things we tell ourselves, but I got this, right? And then, like, on the application, they're like, do you bake often? Or how often do you cook? And I'm like, well, I have 7 kids. You have to feed them all the time. So it's like daily. But, I'm like, but we're not talking expertise like Maddie. So we applied 11,000 applications, and we get to the final ones. We were actually one of the 8 teams chosen. They flew us out to LA. We got to spend 3 weeks out there filming the show, Baking It. It's on Peacock. It actually did come on NBC a couple of weeks ago because it got an award, so they showed it on NBC. But it's called Baking It Season 2. And the host was Maya Rudolph and Amy Poehler. And so our reaction, because we did not know who the hosts were going to be, just FYI, I'll give you that back tidbit. We had no idea. It could have been Snoop Dogg, and Martha Stewart. We had no idea who was coming out. So our reactions, and if you look at my reaction, I'm actually crying because I love Park and Rec so much. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it was literally, I was like, we can go home right now. Like, I've met 2 people that I absolutely love, and we could go home and I'd be fine. But so we got to be on the show. We filmed up there for 3 weeks. And really helped turn her business and her confidence. And I was amazing at making the frosting. That's pretty much all she let me do, but that's okay. I made it work. And when you're not busy on camera, they say, make look like you're busy. And I'm like, so they're like coming up and interviewing us. Here comes Amy and Maya. Oh, and my favorite thing, sorry, y'all are going to get me talking about it. My favorite thing, though, was there was a couple that was from New York, and they talk like this all the time. They really talk like this. She called him George. George is his name. And so, I mean, I love them. They were actually from Brooklyn. Yeah. And so Maya and Amy were sitting there like, so what type of weather is in New York? They're like, it's fall. Yeah, like fall weather? Yeah, it's like fall. They're like, so do you have to wear like anything cozy out there? Like, yeah, like a light jacket or something like that. And I'm like, sweater weather. Do the sweater weather bit. Come on. They're trying to. So finally they come to us because we're behind them. And they're like, so how's it going? And Maddie, my loudmouth 18-year-old goes, I'm so sorry. So I'm hiding behind my daughter. I'm 42. She's 18. I'm hiding behind my daughter because I'm fangirling so bad that I have watched them since their SNL days. And I'm like, this is them. And my daughter goes, she was literally quoting sweater weather. And they're like, really? So we do the whole entire sweater weather bit. So it's sweater weather. Oh my stars, sweater weather. We do the whole entire bit. And I'm like, we can go home. I'm done. I don't care if you win. We're going home. We're done. Like, it was the best thing ever. Now, I follow them on Instagram. They don't follow me. But I feel like they're not really the ones doing their account, so I'm not going to hold them against them. Gotcha. But I also know that they know my name because when I was walking out to our trailer after a shooting one day, Maya goes, bye, April. And I was like, bye, Maya. Bye. We're friends. First name basis.
Hey, counts.
So, counts. I mean, I feel like if I walked up to them right now, they'd be like, April. And I'd be like, besties, what's up? Like, I think so. I don't really know, but like, I think we got that connection. Cause I mean, we spent like, a couple of days, weeks together. So I feel like we have that, but that's my whole thing. Whenever I see them on TV, I'm like, those my besties right there. So they just your best friend.
I know you got to spend some time with them and they're important and all, but you've just got to be on the Ben and Travis podcast. So there's that,
I just took it to a whole nother level.
All 14 viewers or whatever that will have from this.
I was just going to mention, I know I kind of watch from afar and I get to teach some of your young ones at school to teach them Bible, so won't hold that against you. But just seeing your positivity, seeing how you've gone through all of this from afar is just extremely encouraging, especially from people that that you're not talking to every day. Know that just what you're putting out there is having an impact on a lot of people. And I don't know, I guess for people like me, and I've told Ben and Travis this a lot, is I don't know that I've met my, bump in the road, being 33 and whatever that is when it comes. But it's cool to see other people going through something that the world considers so tragic, but doing it in such a joyful way. And so I don't know where that comes from, but we continue to learn and appreciate that. So just a big shout out of thankfulness and gratitude for the attitude that you have and how you point people closer to God and the comfort that He provides.
Well, I appreciate that. And I am sorry you have some of my kids in Bible class, especially if you have a certain boy in there. I know that he's a handful. So I do apologize about that. But just remember, there is a father involved in this, and I'd like to pin that on him.
Maddie gave me one of the most stressful moments of my life because she made a huge Barbie cake for my 5-year-old daughter a couple weeks ago. And I went and picked it up, and Lindsay said, "Do not screw this up coming home." Yes. And I think it took me 35 minutes to get from Florence to my house in Muscle Shoals because I drove so slow. And I
thank you for the support, because every cake that is purchased, that means I don't ever have to pay her mortgage. So thank you. The family appreciate. I mean, we got to get some of these kids out of the house. We got 2 out of the 7 out. And even my oldest one was back today visiting. He lives in Huntsville in his own apartment. And I said, aren't you loving experiencing life? Because that's what I want. I want my kids to experience life, and I want them to experience poopy stuff. I don't want them to have cancer, but I'm like, hey, you can go through tragic times, through bumps in the road, still being a positive person and still being open with people. But so I'm trying to let them experience as much as they can with this. But I asked him, I said, aren't you loving that you're making your own decisions and am I going to get up on time? Am I not? I mean, you don't want to live here the rest of your life, right? And he goes, well, and I was like, no, you don't. You need to do you, buddy. Do you, buddy. So,
if by tough experiences you mean getting tased and tackled by Lonnie Jones, and that's what he's getting to go through right now. But other than that,
the best thing in the world is knowing that. I mean, we all love Lonnie, and I've loved him for years. But knowing that my son totally got taken down by Lonnie. My son's 6'4", about 275, huge linebacker dude. And he said, when I got taken down, all I could think of, there's Lonnie Jones.
But the fact that you sent me, I think you sent it to me or you showed it to me, a video of him being tased with music in the background that you had put onto the video because you thought it was so great to watch your son get tased. That's true love. And that speaks to us so much on this show.
R. Kelly, I believe I could fly was the perfect.
That's incredible.
I mean, again, you have to find humor in the hurt. And I knew he had survived, so he was fine. So it was like, hey, let's make some. You got to laugh at yourself. It's got to be, something like that. Now, I will say something on this serious note, if I can, about whole breast cancer month. I have a friend, and she said it best. She goes, in June, I had breast cancer, but now in October, I'm a warrior to everybody. And I'm like, right? It's so, and I love that we have these months, and I appreciate it because it's very weird to be experiencing breast cancer in October in your breast cancer month. Cause I feel like if I walk by someone, they're going, warrior, hero. You're like, yeah, okay, I'm just hurting, whatever. But I do appreciate it. But with that being said, I do, and I encourage men too, because I have 3 friends that are males that actually have had breast cancer before. So it happens in both. It's of course more frequent in women, but 3 things or something, if I could say, for women like me who I would get checked, but I did not know what I was looking for, is I had very cystic breast, but a cyst moves a lot. So if you're doing a self-exam and things are moving, that's most likely a cyst. Tumors don't move. They're not as pliable. So when the doctor told me that, As soon as I had that in my head and I could feel my tumor, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Because they tell you, do self-breath checks, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you're just doing your best. But, now when I had little things to look for, I'm like, oh, that makes more sense now. I had swelling under my arm. I thought it was because I was playing so much tennis. I mean, honestly and truly, I was like, yeah, that forehand is really bulking me up. No, that was cancer. My bad. Whoops, that was lymph nodes. My bad. So it's little things like that. And another thing, my biggest thing through this is advocation for yourself. If you have questions, my surgeon knows when I come in, I'm going to take my phone out. I'm going to open my notes app because I got about 10 questions, and I'll go, you need to sit down. And I just he knows I'm a humor person, but I'm like, I got some questions because it's your health and you've got to advocate for yourself. And you don't have to be, well, I found that, not that, but I'm like, hey, I got questions. I've never been through this. This is my first rodeo. So I need some help learning how this works. And I think that's with anything in health. If it's cancer, if it's, a cold, if it's a vaccine, if it's whatever, advocate for yourself and ask the questions because, had I not, I wouldn't understand a lot of things. So, hopefully I'm helping people be more aware. I will say this, that what's really cool is there's this, and I don't know what necessarily started it. It's my journey or not, but I went to Transform Ladies Conference. That's where CYC was held. And it was the week before I was having my double mastectomy. And the prayers that were coming out, it was just like when you feel peace, but there's no peace like prayer peace. Like, you have been covered in prayer. And these ladies are coming out with stories and telling me this. And now those same ladies are going, hey, I checked on 26 of my friends. 19 of us have gone and had our mammograms. 3 have biopsies coming up. Here are their names. Let's start the prayers. Hey, I went and had my mammogram. It's been 6 years. Hey, I just had my first one. Hey, I just got my first appointment. What do I expect? And it's like, so like out of this yuckiness that is happening to me and millions of other women, it's such a cool thing to see that these ladies are going, oh, that happened really closer to home than I thought it would. So let me go take care of myself. And it's just, if I can say something about that, that has been such an amazing, amazing journey. Cause it's like, I'm reminding people it's okay to take care of ourselves. It's okay to be mom. It's okay to run multiple businesses and be in sports, but we got to take care of ourselves so we can be around for more years to come. So that's been a huge blessing to me to see all these ladies. And then all the prayers I've gotten, I'm able to return them and say, yeah, I'm praying for this one. Let's do this. Hey, let me know how'd this go. So that's been something really cool for me to see develop through all that.
You've done a lot of surviving. I learned that, when you get the news that you got cancer and it didn't kill you and it didn't paralyze you and didn't keep you from moving on, that's already a survivor. I think before my battle, I would have thought, well, when it's all over and done and you've gotten this victory, that then you're a survivor. But really, if you get that news and you're able to put one foot in front of the other, that's really awesome. And I just thank you for your honesty. The willingness to say, hey, I don't feel good today, or today it's all right, and let's be funny. And people need that, especially Christian folks, because I think so many of us feel the need to suppress what we're feeling. Absolutely. And not share it. And that's exactly what this podcast is about, to share journeys like yours and to let people know that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to say, hey, I'm not feeling good today. Not that it's bad to say I'm all right or I'm good, but to be more honest, to be more open. Well, thank you for taking time out and spending a day with us, however you may be feeling. But we do appreciate your light in the world and your willingness to share with us and our audience. And once again, getting me within 6 degrees of Amy Poehler. So
anytime. I appreciate y'all having me on. Thank you. I'm very honored.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.